Okay, so you're busy, right? You're optimizing your calendar, your to-do list, you're trying to win this constant, exhausting battle against time. But what if that entire battle is built on a lie? In this explainer, we're going to dive into the core ideas of Oliver Burkeman's incredible book, 4,000 Weeks, and totally rethink our relationship with time. So let's start with the one number that really changes everything. It all comes down to this single, kind of stark number, 4,000. That's it. That's roughly how many weeks you've got if you're lucky enough to live to be 80. And that number is the foundation for everything we're about to talk about because, well, that number is your life.
Yeah, when you put it like that, it feels, wow, incredibly finite, doesn't it? The whole idea here is that our time isn't just limited. It's, as Burkeman says, absurdly, even insultingly short. And the way we're all trying to manage it today, it's just making us miserable.
So that brings us to the big question, the real heart of the matter. What if all those productivity hacks, the inbox zero tricks, the 5 a.m. clubs, what if they aren't the solution at all? What if they're actually part of the problem, built on a total misunderstanding of what time even is?
Okay, so to really get why we feel like we're always behind, we've got to diagnose the problem first. Let's dig into how our whole view of time created what Burkeman calls the modern time trap.
And this is where it gets really interesting. Just look at this contrast. Before we had mechanical clocks, life was what you'd call task-oriented. Think about a medieval farmer. Their day was defined by real things, like milking the cows or harvesting the fields. Sure, there was always more to do, but it wasn't this source of constant anxiety. But now, look at us. We are completely clock-oriented. Time has become this abstract thing, a resource to be used up, managed, optimized, even bought and sold. It's something we feel like we have to conquer, to master.
And this new way of thinking created this really strange paradox. We invented all these amazing tools and techniques, right? All to become more efficient, to save time, to get more stuff done. But it turns out, the more efficient you get, the busier you become. I mean, think about it. The faster you clear your email, the more emails you get back. The more tasks you check off your list, the more new tasks just appear. Your efficiency doesn't create space, it just raises the bar and opens the floodgates for more stuff to come in. And this right here is what Burkeman calls the efficiency trap. See, getting better at plowing through your tasks isn't going to bring you that feeling of calm control you're looking for. Nope. It just speeds up the treadmill you're already on. The demands on your time literally expand to fill whatever time you manage to save. And that's exactly why all these productivity hacks can actually leave us feeling more anxious, not less.
And here's the ultimate irony in all of this. In our attempt to wrestle time into submission, to finally get control of it, time has ended up completely mastering us. We've basically become slaves to the clock and that never-ending to-do list, constantly feeling like we're falling behind. Okay, so if trying to master time is a trap, then what's the alternative, right? Well, this is where the whole argument makes a huge pivot. The solution isn't about finding better ways to control everything, it's about finding freedom by finally embracing our limits.
And this comes from a really profound shift in perspective, inspired by the philosopher Martin Heidegger. Get this, you don't have a limited amount of time, you are a limited amount of time. Your life isn't some container that you fill with time, they're the exact same thing. You are literally the sum of your moments.
Now, if you really let that sink in, that you are your time, then every single choice becomes incredibly meaningful. When you choose to spend an evening with your family, that is, by definition, a choice not to work late, or go to the gym, or learn that new language. You simply can't do it all. And you know what? That's not a bug. That's the feature. It's the very thing that gives our choices their meaning and their weight. So this state of having limits has a name. It's called finitude. And the core message here is that facing up to our finitude isn't depressing, it's actually incredibly empowering. It acts like the ultimate filter. Because once you accept that you can't possibly do everything, you're forced to ask the most important question there is. Okay, so what's really worth doing?
All right, so this all sounds great in theory, but how do we actually put this philosophy into practice in our daily lives? Let's get into some real, concrete strategies for living a life that not only acknowledges its limits, but actually celebrates them. The key idea here is something Burkeman calls the art of creative neglect. Basically, it's about becoming a strategic procrastinator by choosing the right things to put off. So step 1, pay yourself first. This is an idea from personal finance, but applied to time. Before your calendar gets jammed with other people's demands, you schedule time for your most important stuff.
Step 2, limit your work in progress. Just stop trying to juggle a dozen major projects. Pick 1 or 2 and actually finish them. And then step 3, which is maybe the hardest one, decide in advance what to fail at. Look, you can't have a perfectly clean house, be a rock star at work, have an amazing social life, and be a fitness god all at the same time. Something's gotta give. So what are you going to consciously choose to be kind of bad at?
Here's another really powerful practice: embracing what are called atelic activities. That's just a fancy word for any activity where the value is in the doing itself, not in some future goal. Think about it. We've turned even our hobbies into productivity projects. But a hike doesn't need to be optimized for cardio. Hanging out with friends isn't networking. The whole point is just doing the thing.
And there are a bunch of other simple, almost counterintuitive little tools you can use. For example, instead of a to-do list that just reminds you of everything you haven't done, try keeping a done list to see what you've actually accomplished. Instead of a smartphone that's designed to distract you, embrace boring, single-purpose tech. It's all about finding small ways to be more present, like finding something new in your daily walk, learning how to just sit and do nothing, or when you feel an urge to do something generous, just doing it right then and there.
You know, when you start to actually apply these ideas, your whole relationship with time just starts to shift. You begin to move away from that constant anxiety, that fear of missing out, and towards something way, way more powerful.
He calls it cosmic insignificance therapy. And it's this incredibly profound sense of relief you get when you realize that in the grand scheme of the universe, your life is just a tiny, tiny blip. And that's not supposed to be depressing. It is liberating. It frees you from that crushing pressure to make your mark or change the entire world. You can finally just focus on what actually matters to you, right here, right now.
And this is what leads to what people are now calling JOMO, the joy of missing out. It's that genuine thrill you feel when you realize that by choosing to do one thing, you are actively and happily turning your back on a million other possibilities. Your choice has meaning precisely because of all the things you're choosing not to do. So in the end, true freedom isn't about getting everything done. It's not about an empty inbox or a clear to-do list. It's actually the opposite. It's like looking at an infinite menu of possibilities and feeling the genuine power and excitement of getting to choose your one single, finite, and truly meaningful meal.
And that leaves us with one last really empowering question to think about. Since you can't do everything and you don't have to, the real question for your 4,000 weeks isn't what will you do? It's what will you joyfully, deliberately, and without any apology choose to neglect?